And now go Chargers, go!
Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to continue our NFL predictions with the Los Angeles Chargers. And if you ask the three Charger fans about how their season went, you're going to get some weird answers. Well, one will say this went successful. They finally made the playoffs in the Justin Herbert era. Others will call it out as a disappointment. We were injured a lot. Brandon Staley is a heck of a coach. And he's supposed to be a defensive-minded coach, but the defense still struggles. So whatever the case is with the Chargers, their season was kind of all over the place. And that's not good to say, knowing that this team made the playoffs. Looking at their schedule, they went 10-7 last year. They started off 1-2, and the only reason was because Justin Herbert hurt his ribs. Then they ripped off 3 straight wins in a row, and given the fact that they should have lost 2 of those games, looking at Cleveland and the Denver Broncos on Monday night. Then they got into a rough patch around November, beating the Falcons, another losable game that they should have lost, losing to the Niners, losing to the Chiefs, beating the Cardinals on a 2-point conversion, losing to the Raiders, but then they won 4 of their last 5 to get them to 10-7 and a playoff berth. And most of that was a benefactor of an easy schedule and easy opportunities for them to take. But in the playoffs, in a game that they pretty much had in the bag, they charger it the only way they know how and lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's take a look at some highlights for the Chargers. And for a team that made the playoffs, they don't have too many, the way I see it. But one of the big highlights was Austin Ekeler being a fantasy darling. Ekeler was pretty much the entire offense until Joe Lombardi forced everyone to make Justin Herbert win the game himself. Ekeler ran the ball well, he caught the ball well, and he took away precious fantasy points from Justin Herbert. And they won the second battle of LA. I guess this is a highlight, knowing that Los Angeles County care less about their NFL teams. I consider that a win. But the lowlights pretty much outshined all of this. This is why the highlights section was very, very small. They had a buttload of injuries. And one injury I mentioned earlier was Justin Herbert. I think he cracked a rib in week 2 and played on it week 3, which didn't go well at all. But you also saw injuries. Khalil Mack was in and out the lineup with injuries. Their wide receiving room in and out of the lineup with injuries. Especially Mike Williams, because he got hurt week 17 in a meaningless game against the Broncos. And because of his injury, he had to sit out that Jacksonville Jaguar game. And I blame that man in the pitcher for all those things. But also J.C. Jackson, their big free agent corner signing, Torres Patel attending. So he missed most of his first season with the Chargers. And knowing the severity of that injury, his career will never be the same. And then, obviously, the Brandon Staley choke job. This guy is a noob as a head coach. Instead of running the ball and preserving the win, he decides to pass the ball, decides still to be aggressive. And I get it, there's a time to be aggressive, but there's a time to be conservative too. And Brandon Staley, I don't think, still doesn't know how to do that. I am surprised he's kept his job after this little choke job he had that I'm only blaming him for. But what do I know? He is a hack, and I don't know. I just don't know about Brandon Staley. On to some signings, free agency. They didn't really do much. They only added Eric Kendricks to boost up the linebacking room, but they lost DeAndre Carter, Troy Reader, and Drew Tranquill. Some guys who are starters on the team at one point last year, but not too much worth noting. And then when you look at their draft, their most notable pick is Quentin Johnson, a wide receiver from TCU. He'll likely replace Keenan Allen when he is on his way out the door, even though he is going to play for the Chargers in 2023. He's a big body receiver like a Mike Williams 2.0, and I honestly don't know how he's going to do in the NFL. I don't know how none of these rookies are going to do in the NFL. But hey, they got it. They drafted his teammate in the 7th round. So I guess there's something. But they also highlighted linebacker Tui Tuiapoto from USC. I know I missaid his name wrong. And Dayan Henley, a linebacker from Washington State. But the Chargers, actually their draft was pretty decent. But will it give them a decent record though? Let's take a look. Alright, Chargers, let's take a look at your schedule. And you're going to start your season off with a pretty decent opponent in Miami. Granted, last year they did beat Miami on Sunday Night Football. This year they got them week 1. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers to win week 1. Then they have 2 road games against the Titans and Vikings respectively. I'm going to give the Titans the dub here and the Vikings a dub here. Then they have the Raiders, and I went back and forth with this one. I'm actually going to, and part of me want to take the Raiders in this one, but I'm just going to go with the Chargers. They're the quote-unquote home team in this game. And after that, they have an early bye week, a week 5 bye. And then after that bye week, they have a Monday night game against the Dallas Cowboys. And if you see my Cowboy video already, you should know that I went with the Chargers simply because they are coming off a bye week. And the Cowboys will be going into a bye week after this game. So, and even though this game is probably going to be more Cowboy fans than Charger fans in that building, I just went with the Chargers. Then I went with a loss with the Chiefs, a loss with the Bears. I'm going to give them another loss to the Jets this time on Monday night. A loss to the Lions, a loss to the Vikings. I'm going to go ahead and give the Ravens a win here. So yeah, things are going to be falling apart for the Chargers. But against the Patriots, yeah, I'm going with New England. Belichick always seems to know how to beat the Chargers for whatever reason. But I have their losing streak coming to an end against the Denver Broncos. And how about this? Let's give them another win against the Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas. But I think when the Bills come to town, I think the Bills gonna take care of business. They're gonna lose to the Broncos, and then finally they're gonna lose to the Chiefs to bring the record to 6-11. And let's just hope and pray that record will get Brandon Staley out of a job. No disrespect to the Chargers whatsoever, but they cannot have good things with that man as coach. And I think they know that. So tell me in the comments below what you think the Chargers record going to be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.